How you doing, my friends? Welcome back to your second episode of Hot News for the Day. We're going to get into the latest tech news that's been happening across the world. Starting off firstly with Apple Glass, so that you can be an Apple Glass hole, my friends. We've got some indication of just how much these things might cost because there's been a bill of materials that has been manifested, and it looks like it's going to cost about more than $500 to make. Apparently, they've been moved to the third stage of development, with them expecting to get these augmented reality glasses out potentially sometime at the end of this year is kind of the release date, or maybe early next year is when they're going to come out. But a $500 bill of materials is what we're looking at for the glass holes that are going to go on your face, and then probably would result in a price that's considerably higher than that, at least $1,000, which just puts it in like the Google Glass territory of $1,500, which in order to get mainstream adoption, you kind of have to put it there. I think they did certain things right with the AirPods. Sure, they look weird and like you had Q-tips dangling out of your ears, but they were also, while expensive for headphones, not really priced out of where average people might be able to pull in some cash to scrape up to get them. A $1,000 augmented reality headset is just, it's going to be such an enthusiast niche thing that I don't expect this to get wide market adoption at any point. But maybe that's what Apple is going for. And you're probably not going to see wide market adoption of Apple's car for likely the exact same reason, except for there's now more rumors coming out about the partnership that Apple's trying to build with a car company in order to produce it for them. We've been talking recently about how Hyundai was the chosen one for that, but apparently talks have fallen through, and so they're going to be going with Kia Motors, which staying in the exact same family because Hyundai and Kia are basically cousins. But according to rumors behind the scenes, a $3.6 billion deal is looking to potentially be announced as soon as February 17th, with them ramping up to produce the cars in 2024. But that's not the only Apple car news that we have. Project Titan, as it's known, has now gotten a new person on board for it, with Apple hiring Porsche's VP of chassis development for this. Dr. Manfred Herrer from Porsche is now going to be as part of the team. He was apparently part of the Cayenne series and had over a decade of experience at the German car manufacturer. So they're tapping into people who absolutely have experience. They're not looking to do it all themselves. I kind of can't wait to see what it looks like, how it performs. I'm very interested. I can't expect that Apple's necessarily going to put this into the hands of the everyday consumer, but we'll have to wait and see if that's true. But let's switch over to another electric car company. Rivian has apparently started to make some deliveries to Amazon for some of the 100,000 delivery vehicles that they're slated to deliver to Amazon towards the end of this year. Just getting a few out there at this point, using Rivian's skateboard frame to create the first of its kind all-electric delivery vehicle, where it's the fastest modern commercial electrification program. It's not necessarily the longest range vehicle out there, with only a range of 150 miles, but with Amazon having delivery centers all over the United States, having charging ports at each one, it could potentially make it so that they have one of the largest fleets of electric vehicles in the entire nation. And then just a little bit of Tesla news to top off the electric car talk. There has been an FCC leak indicating that Tesla has filed for an ultra wideband key fob to connect to your car so that it can be more secure and also more precise about the location of the user who's entering or exiting the vehicle. Currently, right now, they use either the little card that comes with it. The key fob that comes with the Model S and the Model X doesn't have as good of triangulation, but the ultra wideband would make it so that you could see whether or not the person is outside the car or inside the car, and then give you different systems depending on that, and it's not as easily spoofable. And because they're using ultra wideband, it could potentially allow for companies like Apple or Samsung to have ultra wideband in their phones activate with this as well, so it would just make everything safer all around. But speaking of safe, Robinhood's not going to be safe from the ire of the internet, especially now that their Super Bowl ad has been published to YouTube, which is just, the best timing ever. When people are mad at you for not letting them trade a stock that they very much like, you're just going to go ahead and put out a Super Bowl ad that says we're all investors, and has a happy, upbeat tone of you can trade short term, long term, in the middle of the morning, in the middle of the evening, whenever you want, however you want. We're all investors here at Robinhood, except for when, you know, we lie about the fact that we're having liquidity problems with regards to GameStop and we can't actually allow you to trade it. Besides then, everything's fine. And, you know, the fact that they're going to have to speak to Congress on February 18th and they have a bunch of whole class action lawsuits coming against them. You know, just besides the issues, Robinhood is great. Unless you look at the Google Play Store, where they have a really terrible rating at this point, which actually happened in the wake of GameStop shares being limited on the Robinhood trading platform. There is a wave of 1-star ratings on the Google Play Store because Google has a policy that if it falls below 1 star, it gets removed from the platform. And Google started removing those reviews because they said that ratings and reviews meant to manipulate an app's average rating or top reviews violates its policy. However, now that it's happening as a second wave, Google saying that they don't violate the policy at all and that they're completely justified. And as of recording, Robinhood's sitting at a 1.1 star. And if it continues to go down this way, it could potentially get pulled from the Google Play Store altogether. But don't worry, we're all investors, my friends, every single one of us, unless you're on Android because it's not on the Google Play Store anymore. Speaking of the Google, they're rolling out a new feature to their Meets program, which is known as the Green Room, which allows you to do an audio or video pre-check before you actually go into the call that you're trying to get into, which I just don't know why this isn't a wider feature in all of these telecommunication apps that we have. Why can't, yes, I'm here for the meeting, but I don't know if my webcam is working. I have a capture card with a cam link and sometimes it cross communicates, or I have OBS open and then I finally get into the meeting and somehow it's sharing the thing that I'm doing on my other computer and oh no, you saw my mining program. What am I gonna do? Why can't I check this before I get in? Thankfully, Google's doing it. Too bad nobody's regularly using Meets as a communication platform. I know several of you are. Most people aren't. And most people weren't going to be happy with Comcast because they were planning on rolling out the data caps back onto their plans, which they had temporarily paused during the pandemic. However, they've announced that for the 12 states that they were going to re-implement them, they are waiving them once again and delaying them further. So just hold off and we're not going to start charging you anymore just yet. But we will, even though this entire pandemic has shown that data caps are a farce and only a way to make money and not actually necessary for the integrity of the entire network to work. Just don't mind that. Pay the money, friend. But Comcast apparently isn't all bad news because they're doubling the speed of its low-income internet plan. The Internet Essentials plan is jumping up to 50 megabits per second from its 25 megabits per second currently, which this program is for people who are on SNAP, Medicaid, WIC assistance programs. So they're doubling the speed, making it more accessible. Hopefully they don't raise the price. It's currently only $10. So if they don't raise the price, it's a good thing. Comcast did 2 good things. I don't like that. I don't trust it. Feels weird. And what also feels weird is companies earning billions of dollars and still never turning a profit. Spotify passing 155 million premium subscribers and 345 million monthly active users with a 24% year-over-year increase there, but they're still not turning a profit because the average revenue per user fell by 8%. So they have growth, but they also have dearth, and it's not perfect. It's not good. High-scale economics confuses me. Anyways, a quarter of Spotify users apparently now listening to podcasts. I don't use Spotify for podcasts. That's my next poll. Do you use Spotify per podcasts? Now TikTok's adding some warnings when you go to share certain videos that have been reported to have unverified information, just to kind of potentially slow down the spread of things that are going viral, even though they're clearly false, not necessarily preventing people from sharing them, but just an additional pop-up that's saying this video has been flagged for unverified content. You can exit out of that, continue to share it, but just as a way to get people to pause and maybe reconsider what they're sharing or the reasons why they're sharing it on the platform. And Instagram wants to share other people's stuff because Snapchat had stories. Now we have stories. TikTok has vertical scrolling. We're gonna have vertical scrolling. Why invent anything when stealing does the trick? This will make it better. When people can go up, up, up instead of side, 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 they feel better about themselves because the side, side, side reminds them of Tinder and how they're lonely and now nobody ever swipes on them. So now they don't have to swipe anymore. They go up and that feels better because it's like stunks. Stunks only go up. This is GameStop talking right here. Instagram has the plan to go to the moon. And I have the plan to end this episode of Hot News. Let me know what you thought of everything we talked about today. What do you think of Robinhood, Apple's car situation, Apple's glass? How many glass holes do you want to see out on the streets? And with that being said, I'm Brett. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this episode. Get subscribed for more tech news, and I'll see you tomorrow, my friends. Cheers.